Are you supposed to not be able to hear anything?
Thank you all for being here today. On behalf of Flo's family, I want to thank you for showing your support. And by our presence here today, we pledge our support to you, to Mike, to Eden, to Tammy, and to your families as you walk this road ahead of mourning and grief. We begin our service with a recitation of Psalm 23, and we're privileged to have Cantor Martin Goldstein to joining us today.
With Rabbi's permission, I just want to say a couple words about my buddy Flo. If I may, she was a character. If you knew her the way we do. She never ceased to amaze me. She came to every one of my classes, every one of my concerts. I don't know how she got there, how she got home. She made it. And she commented on it too. Usually positively. Oh no, that was the next thing I said. And she many times helped me sometimes find the right path when I was not sure. Very unusual. I grew up in New York. I thought she was from Brooklyn. Apparently she was from here. But so as I sing this psalm for her, it's a really a beautiful psalm. It's unfortunately in America, it's become part of a funeral ritual, but we sing the 23rd Psalm on Shabbat, on Saturday. And when we're about to take a nap, because Mincha in the afternoon is when we rest. The rest of Shabbat, we're actually working hard. Flo is a regular in Shul every Shabbos, and she worked hard to get there. So this is about rest, and may she find sweet peace. Mizmor LeDavid, Adonai Rohi, Lo Echsar, Binodeshe Yarbitzeni, Alemei Menchot, Yenaleni, Nafshi Yeshovet, Yancheni B'maglet Tzedek, Hoy Leman Shemo. Gam Kielech B'Gates Al Mavet Lo Yira Ra Ki Ata Imadi Shivtecha Hu Mishanetecha Hema Yenachamuni Ta'arok Lebanai Shulchan Neged Soder Tishan Tavashem Roshi Kosir Vaya Ach Tava Chesed ירדפוני כל ימי חיי ושבתי בבית אדוני לאורך ימים.
Thank you, Cantor. The psalmist writes, "The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want, giving me repose in green pastures, leading me beside the still waters, restoring my soul, guiding me in straight paths, for that is God's essence. Though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my foes. You have anointed my head with oil, my cup runs over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of Adonai forever." Today we gather to lovingly return Flo Wofsey's body to the earth. It is an act of deep kindness and compassion. And today we also gather to lovingly accompany Flo's neshama, her soul, on its final journey. Out of love, we honor those parts of Flo that live on. Flora Wofsey was born on August 12, 1929 to Hannah Rachel and Belval Sedalnik. The family had migrated from Eastern Europe to Nova Scotia and made their way from Canada to Denver, following after other family members who had settled here before them. Flo was born on the eve of the Great Depression, and her family was very poor. They lived on Denver's west side under the viaduct. Flo was the middle child of 5. Her mother sewed up burlap potato sacks to resell, and Belval collected recycled paint cans using a horse-drawn cart. Belval, who used the name Bill, opened up a tavern on Larimer Street, and the family moved further west into the heart of the Jewish neighborhood of West Colfax. Flo graduated from North High School and went to work as a typist and office assistant. She held jobs at the Air Force Base in Lowry and at the Social Security Administration. She would go on to a long career with the Department of Housing. Flo met Dave Wofsey in the early 1960s at a JCC dance. Dave had settled in Denver after returning from distinguished service in World War II. Flo and Dave moved to the east side of Denver and raised their children, Eden, Michael, and Tammy. Flo went on to earn her degree in urban planning at Metro State in the 1980s and also did some graduate work in the subject. Flo wasn't what you would call domestic, but she was a loving mother. I think you all think that's funnier than I thought it was. That's how Tammy put it. She wasn't domestic, but she loved and supported her children. She enjoyed her job because she loved people, and she found other people endlessly fascinating. This quality also made her an excellent salesperson. And when she needed to make a little extra money, she would take second jobs in phone sales. She always impressed her employers with her ability to outperform more experienced salespeople. When she wasn't working, Flo volunteered for causes she believed in. She used her phone sales skills to make fundraising calls, and she participated in activism for the Equal Rights Amendment. Mike remembers his mom bringing him to meetings. Flo's love of people also made her a fixture of our synagogue, as Cantor Goldstein talked about. Flo was at Shabbos services all the time. And she thoroughly enjoyed schmoozing with people of all ages. She could strike up a conversation with anyone at Kiddush. She enjoyed talking to the young kids as much as she enjoyed talking to all of the adults. She always asked insightful questions, and she generally wanted to know about you. She was genuinely curious and empathetic. She loved being Jewish, and she encouraged her children to embrace their religion as well. Flo was a person who enjoyed the simple pleasures of life. She had a childlike sense of wonder. She was funny and fun-loving. She joked a lot, and she peppered her speech with Yiddish phrases from her childhood. Flo enjoyed laughing, and she was a good friend. She was outgoing and vivacious and enjoyed life. She didn't hold on to the past. She lived in the present. It didn't take much to make Flo happy. Most important of all to Flo were her children and her grandchildren, Noah, Lily, Willow, and Zach. She was a constant presence in their lives, and she loved her children unconditionally. Flo was always supportive and encouraging. When Mike moved back to Denver to help take care of his parents, Flo enjoyed time with Mike's children. Noah appreciated her grandmother and looked up to her. Flo's family will miss her dearly. They will miss her strong, resonant voice and how she spoke up for what she believed. They will hold on to the gift of her unwavering love. She taught her family to value experiences above material wealth. She taught them to value regular people and not be too impressed by wealth and fame. And she modeled a strong moral compass. Flo Wofsey will be missed by her family and friends. She will be remembered as a devoted wife and mother. She will be missed in our synagogue. May the memory of Flo Wofsey serve as a blessing to her family and to all who knew her. May she rest in peace, and let us say. We'll hear from a number of family members, starting with Eden.
Before I say anything else, I need to say thank you to the people who helped and cared for and loved my mother. I want to thank everyone who cooked and shopped for her consistently over the past few years. I want to thank the people who took her to doctor's appointments, who took her to lunch, and who cared for her so lovingly and carefully in her home. The ones who made sure the garbage got put out on the street, the people who made sure the snow was shoveled out of her driveway. I want to thank the people who helped her get to the synagogue and who came in from out of town to see her. I want to thank everyone who helped my mother to always know that she was a cherished and important part of the community and who encouraged her to always be herself. I particularly need to thank my brother, who worked tirelessly for the past many years to help my mother and my father. And I want to thank his family and acknowledge his children, Zach and Lily and Willow, for giving up time with their father so that my parents could have what they needed. How can I possibly stand here and talk about the person who is my mother? How can any words that I would possibly say begin to approach who she was and is and what she was about? My sister said last night, "You can't explain Mom with words. You have to experience her." And I think she couldn't be more right. It's true, right? Words are such a, such a blunt tool to explain my mother. I think when we lose someone, and I particularly feel this way about my mother, there are no words. There really are no words that can do justice to a person. And yet, in a way, we also want to never stop talking, hoping to do justice to the person that we love. We were torn about whether to have the service in the synagogue, which is the beautiful synagogue that is my grandmother's synagogue that we've been connected to for years and years in our family, or to have the service here. But I was here with my sister, and yes, I was here with my sister yesterday to see where the funeral would take place. And last night I realized, after being here and seeing this spot, that this is the perfect spot to talk about my mother. This is the perfect spot. Look.
And surrounded by family.
Yes. Look how beautiful this is. And of course, we didn't arrange this to the last minute. We are here with a freshly dug grave in front of us, with the wooden boards, with the quiet pile of earth, so dark and so final. And we are here with this beautiful tree next to us, so lovely, so complicated. Look at the bark of this tree, so beautiful, so strong, so gentle, so alive. This spot is perfect as a place to talk about my mother. When I stand here, I see different aspects of her life and of who she was. Standing here, I feel the sadness of losing the precious day-to-day interactions with my mother. And the sight of our precious boo-boo's headstone, right here with all the stones, also comforts me. Our grandfather, William, is right here in front of me. And my mother's brother and sister, with their humor and kindness, are also right here. The continuity of generations is in this cemetery, the names that we recognize and the people we love. Mom, in your life, there were many hard and lonely things to deal with, and many things that you could not change. You faced a lot of challenges, Mom, financial, personal, and with your health. You faced the challenge of being in a difficult marriage. You worked so hard, and for much of your life, there was the day-to-day struggle with not enough money and not enough time. But you also lived so powerfully in the present. In some ways, you always felt young. You had hope for the future, and you were always working towards another goal. You were excited to meet new people and excited to be alive. You were eager to share details of your experiences and to talk about simple happenings and simple pleasures from your day. You were grateful for everything. You didn't live in the past and you didn't hold on to grudges. I think that most of the deepest lessons that I learned from you came from watching you go through your life day by day in the world. You had such clarity about what was really important: fairness and respect, people, new experiences, appreciating things, and of course, joy and remembering to have fun. You love to laugh and you love to have fun. And you were also the hardest working person that I have ever met. You were an incredibly devoted daughter and a fierce, loving parent and a loyal, caring friend. On Passover, you would always remind us, don't forget to appreciate everything that you have, how lucky you are to be alive, to experience things, to appreciate the small things, and to recognize how valuable our experiences are. You were strong and serious, and you were also light and joyous. I am so glad that we are here to honor you. And I can't help but noticing how many people are here. And what a tribute to my mother. Thank you so much. And I still haven't taken in that you are gone. You deserved so much on the simple basis of who you were. An endless flow of love, encouragement, adventure, gratitude, and kindness. I know that there are ways in which we could have done better to help you and support you as things got more difficult for you over the past few years. And I want to apologize to you for not doing things that you asked me to do and for putting off taking care of things you asked me to do, as it got harder for you to take care of some of them yourself. I couldn't do this when you were alive because you would never let us apologize. All was forgiven before we could even begin to say the words. Really, never apologize to my mother. It's fine. It's done. The family. It's over. It happened 5 seconds ago. I wish I would have stopped and taken more time to have more great adventures with you and to create more memories along with the wonderful memories that I have. Mom, I hope that any failure to be sufficiently proactive in your care will be balanced by the depth and sincerity of our complete love for you. I love you, Mom. In her later years, my mother's eyesight was failing, but she wanted so much to keep in touch with her friends and with people she would meet and with the people she loved. And for this reason, when she wanted to make sure she had someone's number, she would say, and maybe you have heard this, bring me a piece of paper, a big piece of paper, get a black pen, a marker, and write your name, your number and your name. Big letters, make it dark so I can see. Make it dark and make it strong. So Mom, I want to say to you on behalf of myself and everyone here, thank you for your example. Thank you for your tenderness and your tenacity. Thank you for loving us so deeply. And of course, there are no words. And I hope that all of us can take away this image, which represents how you, Mom, how she lived her life and everything she was. Close your eyes and take a big, clean piece of paper. Take a black pen, a marker, and write your life out bold and strong. I love you so much, and I will miss you forever. I am endlessly grateful to you, and how I wish that this were not goodbye, which is so long.
Thank you so much, Eden. And we'll hear now from Jim. Do we have Carrie and Noah? We'll hear from Eden's wife, Rabbi Carrie Carter, Flo's daughter-in-law, and her granddaughter, who will be joining us remotely. Is this on already?
We're here. Can you hear us?
Oh, hold on one quick second.
Can we hear you?
Great, we're here. Thank you. Thank you for allowing us to be here today this way. Before I begin, I wanted to share something from Flo's granddaughter, Noah, that she wrote for this occasion.
Words come from feelings, such divine emotion that it fills rooms with crying faces and overflowing auditoriums with sound. Really, it's a description of life. The inner complexities that make our eyes well with tears, that force us to laugh for hours on end, that leave us bewildered with our own dumbfounding emotion. The way by which a person moves about the earth in fire and indiscernible grace. How people can walk the world day after day and still find beauty in all its works. The way we say, I love you, and it hurts when we do and when we don't. The fire that is held deep within someone. The deep pride and unshamefulness they hold. The love they burn through the world. The gentle passion for which they flow through life. A marvel, a beauty, a mother, a boo-boo.
When I think of Flo, I think of the really the breadth of what a human being can be. And I'm reminded of a poem by Zelda, who once wrote, L'chol ish yesh shem. Each of us has a name. Each of us has a name, she wrote, given by the source of life and given by our parents. Each of us has a name given us by our stature and our smile and given by what we wear. Each of us has a name given us by the mountains and given by our walls. Each of us has a name given by the stars and given by our neighbors. Each of us has a name given by our sins and given by our longings. Each of us has a name given by our enemies and given by our love. Each of us has a name given by our celebrations and given by our work. Each of us has a name given by the seasons and given by our blindness. Each of us has a name given by the sea and given by our death. And today we come together to recall the name and to give honor to the life of a strong and smart and curious and kind woman, Flora Wofsey, Vega Esther, Bad Velvo V'chano Rochel, Zichronah Livracha. We all know that Flo's death has left this just gaping hole in the lives of those of us blessed to know her and to love her in life. Her children, Eden and Mike and Tammy, her grandchildren, Noah and Lily, Willow and Zach, her strong extended family, and her community of dear friends, which seems to expand at every moment. All of us whose hearts are focused on remembering and honoring Flo today. And though I really do understand that these last days, and especially these last few months of her decline, are so present in our minds, I'm truly grateful to know that we are already beginning to look at pictures, to laugh, as well as to cry, to tell stories, and to recall memories of Boo Boo, of Flo, and the more than 9 decades of life that she lived. And we all know she lived with such passion. And so I want to invite us to remember Flora Wofsey, daughter of Rose and Bill, a direct, honest, loving woman who knew how to live her life and to do so on her own terms. Even when life was difficult and things didn't work out exactly as she may have planned or hoped, Flo was just kept going with her determination, her curiosity, and her amazing sense of humor leading the way. We remember Flo, a beautiful force of nature, a wonderful conversationalist, a woman interested in everything around her. I don't think I ever came across with a topic that Flo wasn't interested in discussing at length, especially anything around Judaism and Jewish life. More than that, Flo was a woman interested in everybody who entered her world. I don't know, it sounds like the same thing happened in Denver as it did when Flo would visit us in Brooklyn, because I can't tell you how many Shabbatot I was really ready to go home from Kiddush. And there was Flo, deep in conversation with someone, not wanting to leave while there was another interesting story to be heard. And truthfully, no one left her side without her knowing at least some interesting trivia from their lives. Because Flo Wofsey was truly and deeply interested in other people. And in that way, she made so many, myself included, feel valued and deeply appreciated. And that was a gift beyond measure. I'm not sure I'm going to find anyone who will be as appreciative of my high holiday sermons or my Shabbos sermons that go on a little too long for most people than Flo. So today we remember Flora Wofsey, a woman who, as we heard, wanted to experience life, and nothing would stop her. Not when she set her mind to something. I was amazed when at age 90, she decided to go to Prague with Eden for her birthday. And there, nothing, not even trying to get a wheelchair over rough cobblestone steps uphill could possibly stop her. You just give her a cup of coffee, or probably closer to 8 cups of coffee, and she was ready to go. We remember Flo, an incredibly generous woman who understood expressions of gratitude in a deep way. Noah told me that after they were rescued from a stuck elevator, Flo decided that she needed to write handwritten thank yous to everyone involved in the rescue. We remember Flo, an active member of the Hebrew Education Alliance. She told me repeatedly how, like, one of her great disappointments during COVID was that she couldn't get to shul. She always wanted to get to shul. She loved it there. She was a dear and loyal friend to so many, a wise and strong woman, never at a lack for words. But above all, I remember Flo as a mother and a grandmother who loved her family passionately, who with persistence and determination, commitment and deep love, she made a home for her children when they were young. And right there in Denver. No matter how many jobs she worked, she made sure that they had everything they needed for work, for school, including apparently burger patties that she would prep and put in the freezer so that Eden could make sure that everyone had dinner on the table, even though she still had to be at work. But more than that, she made sure that her kids knew how much she cared for them. And this continued for more than 50 years, talking on the phone every day, working in home with their homes together, sharing her pride and enthusiasm for whatever they were doing and whoever they were. And perhaps most importantly, she did something with her children that she does with each person she encountered. She saw each one of them for the unique individual that they are. She told me on more than one occasion there was no same for each child in this family. Flo always recognized the special qualities and the unique skills and interests and needs of the person standing before her. And her commitment to and her interest in and pride in her generosity towards and love for her children and her grandchildren couldn't be measured. Throughout her life, she stepped up time and time again with love and generosity for her family. And as I witnessed the events of these last few months, and really for many years now, I can tell you that this love, this dedication and care and understanding was not a one-way street in the Wofsey family. It was reflected back to her by her children, by Eden, by Mike, by Tammy, talking to her all the time, caring for houses together, helping with her shopping, making sure she had what she needed, and being careful not to let anything arrive via an Amazon truck, but still getting her everything that she needed. And in recent months, really stepping up in remarkable ways, putting all else aside and helping her hold on to her precious independence, offering boundless love and care and kindness to their mother to try to help her regain her strength and her ability. And being the fighter that she was, Flo made remarkable progress. And even if she didn't make it through this most recent illness, I, for one, am so grateful that she was surrounded by such love and care during these months. So many of her dear friends and family came to visit her, to connect with her during her convalescence, and the daily and constant presence of her kids was a powerful statement of the bond she had created over her lifetime. I take great comfort in knowing that she passed away, pain removed, with her hand in that of her eldest daughter, with the sounds of the Shema in the air. I believe that all of this and all of you did indeed allow her to find peace. And I want to simply close by saying that I know and I truly believe that the light and the fire, the passion that Flo brought into the world did not end on Monday. And it is upon each of us to take the light that Flo shared with us, to bring it forward for all to see. And then just maybe, just as the lights of Hanukkah bring light into this very dark season of the year, Flo's light will shine bright for us all, even in these dark days following her death. May her memory always be a blessing. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll hear.
How I learned to drive. I was 15 and a half. I got my learner's driving permits. On a quiet Sunday morning, Mom drove with me to an empty Kmart parking lot. We had the banged up Mercury tank of a car that my Uncle Max bought at a car auction. The trunk, it was so cavernous, we could fit 3 bikes, bungee down and back. We switched sides. I got in the driver's seat. Mom turned on the ignition and she said, "Okay, drive." Just like that. It wasn't anything. We just jumped right in. That's how I learned. And that was our life. You start from nothing. And then somewhere along the way, you learn to be something. No, I love you so much, Mom. The toughest part, I mean, the hardest part, not being able to talk to you at night, not being able to share a day together, just ask what you did, what I did, what the weather is, and always saying goodnight with love. I'm gonna miss your strong, strong voice, because I think that's the thing that my mom, even when she was older, you never knew her age by talking to her. She had such a great voice. And you never gave up. No, it was never you. Most of all, I'm gonna miss drawing your beautiful face. Her face just always made me feel so
Did he see?
There was more than words could say. What you connected, and I hope to someday learn to love the way that my mom did with Melissa.
The burial of our loved ones in Jewish tradition is called Chesed Shel Emet, the highest form of kindness that we can show another person because it is a kindness for which we can never be repaid. And it is a mitzvah that is incumbent on all of us present today, most, of course, with Flo's family, whom we will invite forward to participate in the burial in a few moments. It's customary to place at least 3 shovelfuls of earth in the grave as a symbol of intention, and to return the shovel to the mound, allowing the next person to fulfill the mitzvah themselves. So we're going to lower the casket now, and then we'll invite the community here to participate in the burial. Yashov ha'afar al ha'aretz kishahaya, ve'aruach teshuv el Elohim asher netana. The dust returns to the earth as it was. The spirit returns to its source. May Wofsey's soul be bound up in the bond of life eternal. Send comfort, Adonai, to those who mourn. Grant strength to those whose burden is sorrow. And let us say amen. We'll invite the community to come forward now. You can come to either side of the grave and participate in the burial. According to Jewish custom, in the especially here at Rose Hill Cemetery, we do need to cover the casket completely before we can complete the service. So,
Come here, yeah. Go to the shovel.
He was so funny. Good. Payback. Yeah, that's it. That's payback. I'm not giving me sunlight. You had your chance. Stop squishing me. I would gain some weight. Yeah, I wish she was here. Yeah, they're telling jokes. Flora had such a great laugh.
Oh, yeah.
She had the best laugh. Oh my God, I can only imagine. What was that like?
No rest.
They would tell jokes back and forth. As we fill in the grave, there's a beautiful prayer that we say. It's called Tzidu Kadim. Why not? Atzutamim, Kol Derechad Shpadel, Emnavina, Tzapia, Shavu Atzutamim, Kol Boaz. Mi Olamad Kol Ashalit, Omatem Anim Mechayim. צדיקתה אדוני להעמיד לחיות, אשר בידך פיקדון כל רוחות חלילה לחצי פנים חול, ויונהנה כל דברך אדוני רחמים יעשו. אדם ייתן שנה יהיה עולב שנים יהיה, מה ייתן לו כלו היה יהיה, ברוך דיין האמת ממית ומחייב. גדול העצה ורב עליליה שנחתכו כל דרכי בני אדם, ותן לאיש כי דרכיו וכפרם עליו להגיד כי אשר יציבו עליו לעבור. אדוני נתן ואדוני לקח, אישם אדוני מבורך, מבורך הוא מחבר ומלא השחית בי ולהשיב אפו, ולא יאיר כל חמתו.
Ladies and gentlemen, before we conclude this service, I want to let you know about visitation and Shiva. This family will be receiving guests following the service from 2 to 6 p.m. this evening with a Shiva Minyan at 4 p.m. That will be at Flo's house, 3368 South Ulster Court in Denver. So today, 2 to 6 p.m. visitation with Minyan at 4. On Friday, visitation from 11 to 2. And Saturday from 6 to 9 p.m. We'll conclude this service now as we invite Flo's family to come forward and recite the mourner's cottage. Shalom Shalom Aleinu ve'Avol Yisrael.
With the beautiful El Malay Rachamim, also upon God. close to us like our mother. Which is where the word from. I also got an update that my grandfather's name was Ze'ev. Ze'ev, which means wolf. Now I get the no, my sons. Male Rachamim. כנפי השכינה במעלות קדושים ודיורים כזוהר הרקיע מזהירים את נשמת פייגה אסתר בת זאב ולבו בחנה רחל שהלכה לעולמה בגן עדן, בגן עדן תהא מנוחתה אנא בעל הרחמים הסתירהו בסתר כנפך לעולמים וצרור בצרור החיים את נשמתו אדוני הוא נחלתה ותנוח בשלום משכבה ונאמר אמן.
El Male Rachamim, exalted, compassionate God, grant infinite rest in your sheltered presence among the holy and pure to the soul of Flo Wofsey, known in our tradition as Fega Esther Bat Zev Velvo Bechana Rachel, who has gone to her eternal home. Merciful One, we ask that Flo find perfect peace in your eternal embrace. May her soul be bound up in the bond of life. May she rest in peace, and let us say Amen. Is accustomed to escort the family from the gravesite by forming two rows facing one another. And Jim is going to give you some instructions to do that. It is a gesture of our surrounding you with love and support as you walk the path of grief and mourning, as we offer traditional words of consolation. Hamakom yinachem etchem betoch shar avlei Tzion v'Yushalayim. May you find comfort in the memory of Flo Wofsey and among all those who mourn of our people.
Yes.
Friends, that concludes our service here at Rose Hill Cemetery. Family invites you for visitation from 2 to 6 p.m. this afternoon.